Alright everyone, people have been clamoring for a video on how to gather and prepare chamomile for some time. Keeping in mind, and these are the plants we're going to be working with, I'm not going to do a complete load here, but we'll keep it a little bit on the short side for time's sake. In the future, I would like to do a fully properly edited video on the subject. Right now, of course, I don't have the ability. I'm going to have a partner in crime for that, so to speak. Now, your materials are going to be very simple. First and foremost, you need chamomile. You need a strainer like this, preferably, although technically you don't have to. Some paper towels, or towel, or whatever you're going to use to dry things with. And then you're going to need a water source. I've got the hose here. Usually what I do is I just bring it into the kitchen, but I'd have to bring it all the way through the house, and for, again, for time's sake, this way, if I'm not editing, it's easier to do it like this. Now, first and foremost, what you're going to do, well, first, you're going to make sure that these don't fly away if there's a light breeze, so it's always a good decision. Don't worry about the dirt, you're going to be washing that off. To grab the chamomile itself, and I've got to, because I'm right-handed, see, I don't want to block the actual camera there. That should be fine. What you do to gather these, you get them under the head and you push with your thumb, like that. And it's literally that simple. So you can just push off with your, I'm trying to aim at the same time that I'm doing this. This is really hard because I'm coordinating based on the video that I'm seeing rather than the real world in front of me. So you just pop their heads off like that, and they'll more or less go in. And so you get some like this. Now let me grab a few more. I don't know what you're seeing at the moment, but I'm just going to sort of get some more of these. It doesn't matter, if they fall on the ground, it's not a big problem as long as they're being washed. Now what you're going to do, a little bit of fuzzy, this is very basic. This is obviously, that's like a cup's worth. That's not a lot of chamomile once it's dried. One single plant, once you popped off all the heads, it'll create a second flush, a third, a fourth. Sometimes, depending on where you are, the seasons, and how well they're taken care of, you can get 6 of them. It can be every few weeks, basically, all throughout the growing season from, mid-June or even earlier in a warm climate, all the way up through. Now then, there's one actually there. These are slightly antimicrobial, by the way. You can actually apply it as a poultice to wounds. I have used that method when I gouged my foot open. It seemed to work. But then again, so did whiskey, so I don't know. Now, if you're using a hose, put it on mist. You don't want to put it on anything that's going to blast the flowers out. See? Just give them a rinse off. And I don't want to get the phone wet, so just rinse them off a bit. Sort of move them around. If this were in like an actual sink, it'd be easier. Of course, I'm simplifying this for the fact that there's only a handful of these here. Now, what you would normally do, or what I would do anyway, first, you spread out a paper towel or 2 or whatever, you put them on there, and I bundle them up a little bit, and I just sort of jiggle them around. I just sort of roll them around on there, like this, to get them partially dried. Now, that's taken some of the excess moisture off. Now, you put them on this. Now what you're going to do with this is just lay it in the sun for a couple of days. Now I don't do it outside. I don't want animals and bugs getting into it, dirt, dust and pollen. I don't want them blowing away in the wind. All you have to do then, put it in a windowsill. Like a south-facing window is best, especially on a sunny day. You should pick the chamomile on a sunny day, especially if the next day will be sunny. Within 2 days, it'll be mostly dry. What you do for storage is quite simple. And I won't show you that because it's so easy. Take a glass bell jar or any other container. I use bell jars, they're cheap and plentiful. Put a wad of paper towel, just a paper towel like this, in the bottom for moisture control. Pop all the dried material in there. You don't have to lid it. You can put a loose lid or mesh on the top to keep contaminants out. That stuff will store for several years. And what'll happen, it'll smell slightly of chamomile for years. But if you parse it apart, if you take the whole chamomile and pull it apart even dry, the inside will still be slightly moist and oily, and it'll still smell like it's fresh, and it's just as powerful. What you do is chop it up real fine, put it into a pot, boil it, let it simmer for a few minutes, and then you have tea, basically. If you leave it in too long, the chlorophyll will turn it green. Did that once, made a nice strong brew of it. By the way, homegrown chamomile is much stronger than what you're going to get dried. If you take this fresh, and you can do this, if you chop this up fine and you make a powerful brew of it, like this would be, barely a cup's worth at average strength. I'm talking like 4 or 5 times that. It will almost get you high. That's not a joke. It is a powerful enough sedative, and the Roman chamomile that I grow has other qualities in it. I think it's a mild hypnotic. Your head will swim a little bit. That's not a joke. It's not really like, it's not a drug. It doesn't debilitate you, but you'll be having some weird dreams, and really good ones. It's sort of like, well, valerian is a powerful sedative, supposedly more than chamomile, although I debate that as far as my chamomile goes. What is it? Passion flower, Passiflora edulis, is also a little bit of a sedative and a euphoriant almost. Yeah, that's basically all you have to do, though. It's a very simple process. You know, you can sit here for an hour. It'll take me several hours to pick down the chamomile today. And I'm going to put I'm not even going to be able to do it all. My plant desk in the office will have to be cleared off, and I'll have to use that for drying space, essentially. That's about all. Peace out.